These are the top 5 cryptocurrencies to watch this week: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Compound, Ethereum Classic, and Aave. Why? Because they have fundamental events and because the charts finally look promising as Bitcoin starts to trade sideways and altcoins begin to heat up. Ready to take a look? Let's go. What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, that thumbs up right down below. Give it the old green Hulk smash. Now, as I said before, Bitcoin is trading a bit sideways, but altcoins are finally starting to heat up, looking really, really good. We've been waiting for this seemingly for many weeks, if not months. Now, I chose 5 cryptocurrencies that I believe are worth watching this week. Some have already moved, but all of them have some sort of fundamental event or reason for us to watch them. I'm not saying that you should buy them right now. I'm not even necessarily buying them myself. They're just really interesting at this moment and worth keeping an eye on. First, we're going to dig into the obvious. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin and see what's going on there and how it's affecting the rest of the market. As this article says, Bitcoin targets 36K key Wyckoff level with altcoins set to grind up heavier. Conditions are conspiring to deliver fresh strength across altcoins, I agree, which suffered unduly as Bitcoin briefly hit levels below 30,000 a trader predicts. Suffering unduly, that's what we call throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Just because Bitcoin dropped, everything dropped disproportionately more, which means that altcoins, when things bounce, have disproportionate upside to recover a bit more. Now, everybody's been talking about Wyckoff. Obviously, you can see the schematic here. Well, now we're coming into the end of phase C with another test, but for that to really happen, we need to break above 36K. Now, taking a look at the charts, Bitcoin is still trading sideways on the daily. It is holding the top of this descending channel right above the EQ here as support, so hopefully we'll see a move to the top of that descending channel. We do have the 50 MA screaming down here as resistance, but to reference what was happening in the article there, here's the trading range that we've been in. As you can see, we have the spring when it jumped down here, and these are the tests that they're talking about to end phase C. So now we got to get above the EQ of this range. That's this dash line right here, and interestingly, it acted as resistance almost to the exact dollar 2 days ago before dropping, and now we've seen this choppy, ridiculous price action. At the end of the day, as that article says, we got to get above this 36K. Start closing candles above, retest as support, and then we can start talking about higher prices. But ultimately, we still need to get above 42 and 43K to start talking about bullishness. But even seeing Bitcoin slowly rise through this range could give altcoins a really good chance to appreciate. Let's move on to number 2, Ethereum. Ether price hits 2-week high as London hard fork momentum builds. The second largest cryptocurrency by market cap peaked north of $23.50 on Sunday, its highest reading since June 18th. Bitcoin's price stability and anticipation of major protocol upgrades are fueling investors' appetite for ETH. Now, as you know, that London hard fork is coming. That's where we start talking about EIP 1559, which you've all heard about, which adds an element of scarcity to Ethereum, making it a bit more deflationary by burning coins when there's gas fees charged. Really, really interesting, and it seems that the market is reacting favorably ahead of that. As it says, analysts expect investors to increase their exposure to ETH leading into the hard fork. On-chain data suggests this is already happening as Ethereum registered over 750,000 active addresses last week, exceeding Bitcoin by a considerable margin. People are really excited about this upgrade, and as I've been saying for ages, ETH, I believe, has more upside at the moment than Bitcoin. And according to Alex Mashinsky, the CEO of Celsius, Ether already flippening Bitcoin. Celsius Network CEO Alex Mashinsky suggests that Ether has already started flipping Bitcoin in US dollar terms. Now, he's talking specifically at the moment about what's happening on his platform, Celsius. The flipping already happened. Ethereum already surpassed Bitcoin in dollar terms as the total holdings of the Celsius community. And I think that the broader market will follow it in the next year or two. We will see that flipping happening also in the broader market. He believes that will happen in 2022 or 2023, that Ethereum will have a larger market cap than Bitcoin. And for what analysts are expecting out of the London fork, Ethereum price can gain 40% on Bitcoin, argues analysts, as London fork nears. Technical setups coupled with optimistic fundamentals project Ethereum will rise sharply against Bitcoin in the coming weeks. Let's take a look at the chart. Now, if you've been following me, you saw that I posted this trade and have been updating it over and over again at the bottom of this range. Well, it just hit the target literally exactly where I drew it to, which was kind of a complete luck, to be quite honest. But it did hit the target here at the EQ of the range. So now we are at resistance for those higher prices to come in against Bitcoin, which I am expecting. We need to flip that to support. We could have a bit of a retrace first before that happens, but I am ultimately expecting a move to the top of this range at 0.082. This trade was perfect from there on up. Hopefully it will now flip and give another trade to the top of the range. It does look like dips are for buying on ETH against Bitcoin. And ETH USD also same trade at the bottom of the range here with bullish divergence with oversold RSI, flipped both horizontal resistance and descending resistance to support, and now is working on flipping the EQ to support. This is how we get targets up to 3,000-ish at the top of this range. If you are a believer in Ethereum, this is retesting support around 2273 at this EQ, which is a very, very important level, much like that Wyckoff level that we discussed on Bitcoin. This should target 3,000. If it does drop, I would be looking around 2042 at this black line for a potential entry. Now moving on to the next cryptocurrency to watch this week, Compound. Here's the news. Compound Labs launches Treasury to get big firms reaping DeFi yields. The USD-powered savings protocol could be shockingly big for getting fintechs into DeFi, said Compound's Robert Leshner. Now, in cooperation with Fireblocks and Circle, Compound launched Compound Treasury. It lets neobanks and fintech firms send dollars that are converted into USDC, the dollar-backed stablecoin Circle administers in partnership with Coinbase. Those USDC tokens will then be deployed on Compound for a guaranteed interest rate of 4%, vastly better than anything firms would get from a savings account or even a CD, certificate of deposit. This is really interesting because this is now giving a safe and secure way for institutions to participate in DeFi. 4% sounds low to us as retail because we're used to getting 9 to 12% on platforms like Voyager, Celsius, BlockFi, and Nexo. But for an institution to be able to safely get 4% is absolutely astounding in this market. So this is huge. And the chart has reacted. Let's take a look. As you can see, it had this massive breakout, significantly rising volume against Bitcoin, has done nothing but going up. This is parabolic. I would say that it should at least reach this 0.016338 area before cooling off. We can expect that this will cool off. So I would be looking at that 0.012095 area as a retracement, as a retest, as support, and see if we can go back up, because that never really happened and it is a key level. I'm not saying price will drop to there. I'm just saying consider setting bids if it does, and maybe you just catch a wick or some really nice support test. But ultimately, this should be heading up to this level, and then if it breaks it, up to about 0.023309. If this little alt season commences, comp should continue to appreciate, but manage your risk. This has already gone parabolic. There may be better opportunities. I'm watching this for fundamental reasons, and because of what they're building, I would not necessarily buy it at this level. I would be looking to buy dips. Let's look at the pair against USDT. Comp USDT, same breakout on strong volume. Look at all this volume, really huge volume yesterday, and today's already looks likely to break it. So I would say this should be targeting $689 and ultimately $911. Again, I would be looking to catch a retest of $464 if you can get it. If it drops even lower on some kind of crazy move, $330 looking like an incredible entry. But ultimately, this should be rising to these levels around $689 and $911. Comp is looking good and has been leading this little mini alt movement that we're seeing at the moment. Let's move on to Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic price has nearly doubled days after Digital Currency Group's $50 million bet. This was a week ago, just so that you know. The gains also appear amid an overall crypto market recovery following Bitcoin's sharp rebound from 30K. Digital Currency Group is Barry Silbert. Everybody knows about him, who's had a great history of shorting and longing the market at the perfect time, including shorting Doge right before Elon Musk went on Saturday Night Live. But that is a big fundamental move for them to buy 50 million, giving the market a lot of confidence in this coin. Ethereum Classic devs announce upcoming hard fork. Ethereum Classic gets a major upgrade in July. Here's how it will save users on gas fees. Just to give you the very quick gist, the upgrade, which the community has dubbed Magneto, will include the 4 Ethereum Improvement Proposals, EIP, first seen in Ethereum's Berlin upgrade earlier this year. These proposals are meant to improve the network security while saving on gas costs by storing addresses and keys in one place for users to access with a single transaction. As you can see, Ethereum Classic is making some moves and the chart has shown it. Listen, this is a weekly chart. We saw this huge spike in volume back in May. Well, now we've had a pretty epic retrace here, down from 0.00322227 was around the highs against Bitcoin. But you can see that spike last week when Barry Silbert and his group bought 50 million worth, and now it is looking to reflip the support around 0.0015630. If it can hold this blue line, you're looking at a target up here. If it fails, I would start looking at lower areas to potentially enter. You could even look at the line where it is here, or maybe pull something to here around 0.0008562. Bottom line with these coins is they all look like dip buying opportunities, even if they've already run away. There's no need to FOMO into them when they're on their way up, but look to potentially buy dips. Now let's look at Ethereum Classic against USD. You can see it dropped right into this weekly demand zone as we were talking about. Anything holding above 47,296, which was the previous all-time high over here before it was broken a few weeks back, looks good. I would say if this can be tested as support, then we should eventually be retesting the highs of around 176. I know that sounds astounding from here because it's basically a 4x, but it looks very much in play and very much possible if we see this continued alt season. We had this beautiful sort of rounding pattern here before it headed up, and now coming back to test that previous high. Look at that volume on Ethereum Classic a few weeks ago. And moving on to the last of the top 5 cryptocurrencies to watch this week is Aave. Aave price hits 3-week high as Aave Pro debuts for institutional lending. Aave's gains also coincide with a sharp upside momentum across the cryptocurrency market. Now, I have been posting Aave trades for the last week, updating it all the way up. This one I had right at the breakout. It looks amazing on the chart, although now it seems to have already run away like a lot of the other ones I'm saying, but it really is important to take a look at the fundamentals here. The ability to whitelisting and blacklisting addresses would make it easier to scale institutions because it lowers the risk, once again, a way for institutions to gain access to DeFi. Let's take a look at that chart. You'll see that I tweeted about it right here when it was looking to break out, and again on the retest of 0.006650. Well, we're up over 50% from there, targeting this 0.010593. Again, I'd be looking to buy a dip, not looking to buy it here, running right into resistance after it's already gone up. So that would be around 0.008295, maybe bid slightly above that area. Ultimately, though, on this breakout, we should be targeting the highs of 0.015. Against USD, this is a great example of why death crosses are lagging indicators and don't matter. We were talking about the one on Bitcoin where price is still trading at the same price as when we had the death cross. Well, the 50 MA is crossing down the 200 MA here, and price has done nothing but go up and is potentially now trying to break today on the candle through both of them. Will be interesting to see if it manages to break through both of these at resistance. That would have been an incredibly strong move. You would have expected a little rejection here, a retrace, and then probably a move up, but that is not to be here. It's really pushing hard here against USDT. Now, as you can see, there's significant volume coming in, and this is the daily. Will surpass yesterday's by a large margin. Could be one of the highest volume days that we ever have seen on Aave against USDT. Once again, I'm not saying buy this FOMOing into resistance right here. I'm saying if it dips, consider buying it. I'm looking at these because of fundamental reasons and because they've already been moving, but we all know that you don't necessarily FOMO into big green candles. You start watching the coins and looking for a better entry. Guys, that is the top 5 cryptocurrencies to watch this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Tomorrow, I will be live streaming at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, doing my weekly Chartapalooza for my paid subscribers of the newsletter. They can go ahead and request coins every single week for me to take a look at. It's a lot of fun. You guys should definitely check that out. And you can sign up for the newsletter right down below in the description. Thank you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.